The GPU in my hand, the Intel Arc Pro B60, is quite possibly the most important GPU, not just of this year, but maybe the next few years, because of the way that it could massively disrupt NVIDIA's near monopoly on professional GPUs, drive costs way down for prosumers and professionals alike, and if the demos they have running in the suite are anything to go by, change the game for AI developers and for businesses who are looking to leverage AI privately without giving their data away to companies like OpenAI and DeepSeek. And I managed to get some good news for gamers too. It wasn't an easy conversation, but I've got a solid commitment from Intel's VP and General Manager for Discrete Graphics, Vivian, yes, the OG LAN party queen of DFI, to get back to me on what their plan is to ensure that Arc consumer cards are going to be available at MSRP in the US, where they're often still well over. Stay tuned for that. Coming back to Arc Pro though, man, I get it. These are supposed to be for boring people in suits or whatever, but I'm almost feeling some of that LAN party energy here. Like, check out this wild board from Maxsun. It's dual GPU, with each of them getting 8 lanes of PCIe Gen 5 and a total of 48 gigs of GDDR6 memory that, yes, my friends, through some software magic that's part of what Intel is calling Battlematrix, can be shared across multiple GPUs for AI workloads, enabling models of up to 192 gigabytes to sit in GPU memory. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Oh, what's that down there? Oh, that's the tip of this segue to our sponsor.
UGREEN, their FineTrack smart finder, helps you find lost items and pinpoint their exact location with an audible sound. Play the sound. It's super slim, it's equipped with a rechargeable and removable battery, and it's even compatible with the Apple Find My app. So check it out using our link today.
Let's get the basics out of the way first. If you know the B580 Battlemage gaming GPU, then you're already pretty familiar with the new Arc Pro B60. But there are some key differences. First up, the clock speeds are actually lower, which Intel says is to ensure the utmost in stability and reliability for professional users. But don't let that fool you into thinking it's some kind of slouch for performance. Memory has been doubled from 12 gigs to 24 gigs, and as we've covered in the past, certified drivers and OpenGL tuning can result in much greater performance in professional applications, with Intel showing off a heavyweight list of software partners, including the likes of SolidWorks, Autodesk, and Blender. Here's a little fun fact, by the way. They won't prevent you from installing gaming drivers on your Arc Pro card if you're the kind of person who likes to mix business and pleasure on your PC. Let's take a closer look at some of these cards. I absolutely love that Intel is not taking the same approach as others in the space, locking their board partners into sometimes imperfect reference card designs. We've got a variety of everything from power connectors. This one has dual 8 pins, this one has single 8 pins. This guy over here with the dual GPUs gets the much maligned 12-volt 2x6 connector. The point is not whether one of these approaches is superior to the other. The point is that you as the customer have an option. You want 3 fans? There's this. 2 fans? 1 fan? How about no fans, a passive design, and use the chassis airflow in order to blow air through the cooler? NVIDIA in particular has this weird allergy to cards being used for, no, not quite what we prescribe it for applications, and it's refreshing to see somebody take a different approach. Regardless of the cooler design or power, you're gonna get the same HDMI 2.1 as well as DisplayPort 2.0 UHBR 13.5 and PCIe Gen 5. That is an upgrade over the consumer Arc cards, which are PCIe Gen 4. I know it's practically cliche at this point, but it's been so long since I've seen a dual GPU card, I can't help but tear it down with my handy, convenient LTT Store Precision screwdriver. Woo! Thanks, James. That right there is the biggest change from the consumer cards. Instead of just having memory on the front side of the PCB, each of our GPUs has memory on the back side of the PCB as well. That's what gives you double the capacity. Now, before you ask, no. SLI, Crossfire, XCSS, Fire, whatever, is not coming. This is purely to enable customers to install more GPUs in fewer PCIe slots, but I still think it's super cool. Should we look at the other side? Woo-wee, let's go, boys. Oh, that's so cool. Dude, shout out Mac, son. Okay, there's lots of cool stuff to kind of talk about here, starting with the fact that this just uses a standard 4-pin power connector. Thank you. Why can't GPU coolers just use these? Then it would be so much flippin' easier for me to just like, I don't know, run a regular fan. Okay, it doesn't really change that much, but this is also cool. Check this out. This is very early hardware. You can actually see they did a hand rework on this with this little hair fineness copper wire here. Whew. Man, that's a lot of GPUs on one board. Okay, it's 2, but that's a lot more than usual. Last thing, this is pretty cool. So you can actually see the PCIe lanes routed off to the separate GPUs. So each of them gets a by 8 interface. And then check this out. Each of them gets a single HDMI and a single DisplayPort. So this card is effectively just like installing 2 by 8 GPUs in your system. You just have to have a slot that supports bifurcation. So cool. Moving on to the Arc Pro B50. This one's a bit more of an unknown. Like its bigger brother, it gets a PCIe Gen 5 by 8 interface and a generous allocation of VRAM that makes it very competitive against memory-starved cards like the NVIDIA RTX 1000 that Intel is positioning it against. But unlike the B60, it's not just a repurposed consumer GPU. It gets just 16 Xe cores compared to 18 in their B570 card, which is a bit of a downer, but it enables it to hit just 70 watts of total board power, which lets it operate without a separate power connector for some pretty cool use cases. Imagine, if you will, that you have a giant chassis on wheels like this. Now imagine you have the opposite of that. You have a little slimline office workstation like you'd see deployed in an architectural office. This will fit perfectly in that without upgrading the power supply. Or, hear me out, if you had a shop environment where you don't want active cooling, drawing sawdust and crud into your machine and then kicking it around, I'd love to see someone do a passively cooled one of these. The coolest stuff is what's coming down the road though. Let's turn our attention to Battlematrix, which Intel is still working on the software magic for, but has it working enough that they're able to show off some pretty compelling demos. Behind me is full-fat DeepSeek. Okay, quantized 4-bit, but still, DeepSeek with 671 billion parameters running locally on one system. Now, not everything fits into VRAM. They've got about 256 agents that don't get used as much on the system RAM, but this is it, full-fat DeepSeek running on local hardware. This is perfect for a firm that has valuable intellectual property and doesn't want to entrust any of it to an off-site cloud-based AI. Boom, one box. And the secret sauce that I can't emphasize enough is that the VRAM sharing that's going on with those GPUs is done in software rather than needing a fancy NVLink interface, say, for example. They've got another demo here. This is a code debugging demo that's showing corrupted video output on a Lunar Lake engineering sample right here. The model and the context take about 96 gigs, and while this demo is actually playback rather than real time because it took so long, what it's showing here is multiple AI agents working together to ultimately take the corrupted video encoding output and turn it into something that works. The mic drop moment, though, is the price. Unlike the consumer cards, Intel is leaving pricing to their board partners on these, so I can't give you an exact price for the B60. But they are giving us enough information about these shockingly competent AI cards to infer a price. Battlematrix is expected to land in the $5,000 to $10,000 US range, depending on whether you have a single B60 or up to 8. So by my math, that's about $700 a pop, which means that Mac Studio that I bought turned out to be, pardon my French, a complete f***ing waste of money. But hey, that's progress, baby. So that's what's happening today, but what about the future? Intel is clearly committed to ARC integrated graphics and looking at the roadmap for professional, not to mention the importance of AI in the future. They're clearly committed to that, but what about us gamers? What's the commit level there? Well, no matter how hard I pressed, they weren't willing to talk themselves into the same traps they ran into in the lead up to Arc Alchemist. They don't want to overcommit. But what they would say is that they're working really hard on building a hardware development pipeline that enables them to much more easily leverage their hardware across integrated, gaming, and professional. Which I'm taking as a yes. So I hope it's clear to everyone, the Intel folks in this room who worked so hard to bring these products to life and put these demos together, and to you at home, how hard it is that I am rooting for them to succeed here. Just like I'm rooting for our sponsor. Acuity scheduling. Managing your workday isn't just about doing your job. It's about staying organized, keeping your schedule in check, and optimizing your time. Sometimes the actual work takes less time than all of the prep and coordination and communication that comes with it. That's where Acuity scheduling steps in, making scheduling effortless so you can focus more on what you actually need to get done. You gain access to a powerful and intuitive calendar management system that synchronizes seamlessly across multiple platforms, reducing the chance of double booking internal or client meetings. Speaking of clients, Acuity scheduling allows you to customize your online booking page with your brand's fonts, colors, and logo, ensuring a professional and personalized touch. You can keep your appointments running smoothly with automated confirmation emails, text reminders, intake forms, and even integrations with trusted payment providers. So don't wait. Take control of your schedule and make booking stress-free with Acuity scheduling. Click the link in the description and use offer code LTT20 to unlock 20% off your first subscription. If you guys enjoyed this video, why not check out the conclusion of the ARC Battlemage Challenge? Spoiler, one of the participants went out and bought an ARC based on their experience. That's a pretty strong endorsement.